Hey everyone, Black 6 from BZPower, back again for another LEGO set review. Still doing some Star Wars sets, kindly sent to us by the LEGO group. This is the last one from the most recent batch. They have been kind enough to send us. The biggest of the bunch, 75302 Imperial Shuttle. The set is scheduled to go on sale on March 1st. And will retail for $79.99 in the US and contains 660 pieces. So if you're looking at it right off the bat from a price per part ratio, maybe not the best, but it is also a LEGO Star Wars set, and of course those always do tend to carry some sort of markup, no matter any way you look at it. So this is, I believe, from my research, the third minifigure scale Imperial Shuttle set, if you exclude the UCS Imperial Shuttle, which could hold minifigs, but I guess technically is not minifigure scale since it was a UCS set. The last one we got was, I want to say, in like 2014 or so, and I actually did a review of that one. So you can go onto our channel and check that out. So it's kind of interesting how that worked out. Just a funny little story, because I got that set because when we asked LEGO for some sets, I actually transposed some set numbers. I forget the set I was asking for, but transposed two numbers, and it ended up being the Imperial Shuttle set. And for this set, LEGO was just like, hey, do you want to review some Star Wars sets? I'm like, sure, I don't know what they're going to be, but we'll take them. And it turned out to be another Imperial Shuttle, so they just kind of keep coming my way. Anyway, if you look at this set, we can see obviously the shuttle in the foreground. We see the second Death Star in the background and an explosion. The bottom right there shows the minifigs in this set. You can see this includes Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and an Imperial Officer. So this is the Imperial Shuttle that Vader uses to bring Luke to the second Death Star. Maybe about midway through Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Which is kind of interesting because I believe the other two Imperial Shuttles in minifig scale, the first one included Emperor Palpatine, and was the one that lands on the second Death Star near the beginning of the film. And the second one that I did the review of was the Imperial Shuttle Tidirium, which is the shuttle that the Rebels steal and use to infiltrate Endor and the Imperial base there. So this is kind of the third minifigure set and the third separate shuttle that we have seen represented in LEGO form. Kind of an interesting coincidence. I don't know if that was done by design or not, but it's kind of cool as a Star Wars nerd to see that. Anyway, that's the front of the box. If we flip it around and look at the back, you can see some of the play features there. So we can see obviously the wings fold up as you would expect. The cockpit opens and fits the Imperial Officer. The entire back also kind of flips backwards so you can access the interior. And there are some stud shooters on the sides, yay. And apparently you'll be able to play in this ship or fly this ship around in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Whenever that game comes out. They still haven't announced a release date for that yet, unfortunately. So that is enough about the box. Let's open her up and see what we've got inside. Alright, so we've got a number of bags here. Let's adjust that a little bit, see what we've got. Alright, so 2, 5, 4, 6, 3, and 1. So we've got 6 numbered bags. 1 bag for each number, and then we've got our instruction manual, which thankfully comes in its own separate bag. I don't see a sticker sheet in here, but it may be in between the pages Although, kind of looking at the artwork, there may be no stickers in this set. That would be kind of interesting to see. So anyway, we've got the bags. Let's open them up and take a closer look at some of the parts. Alright, so here we are, 6 bags, so we've got 6 sets of trays. Kind of ran out of my normal size one, so I had to switch to some Acromills little drawers here for some of the parts. Got our instruction book. There were indeed no stickers that I could find hiding in here, so that's really interesting that an $80 Star Wars set has no stickers. I'm not sure when the last time that has happened, if it has even happened at all in the past, but yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. So looking through the parts, there were a few that were interesting that stood out. A couple new parts for 2021. First off, we've got this new snot bracket. So it's a 1x1 by 1x2 snot bracket. And we've had this one before for a few years and a few other varieties. But this is the first time we've gotten one that is 2 modules high, but only 1 wide. So I'm sure that's going to open up a lot of possibilities for builders to kind of get those into smaller spots than they could before. We also have this 1x1 Technic brick with an axle hole. We've obviously had the version with the Technic pinhole for years and years and years, but the one with the axle hole is new. We've also had 1x2 bricks with Technic axle holes for a while, but again, this is first time we've seen that in the 1x1 format. So I'm sure that is going to again open up some interesting building possibilities there. As far as the rest of the first bag, we've got some bunch of Technic parts. Interesting, quite a few dark red plates for some internal structure. We've got some big Technic beams, of course a brick separator. We've got the minifig for the Imperial Officer, but nothing else in here really jumped out at me. Moving on to the second set, wasn't a lot in here either. Spoiler alert, there really wasn't a lot that jumped out at me except for those first couple parts that I just showed you, the new parts. Otherwise, it's a lot of black, white, light gray, dark gray, traditional Star Wars fare. You've got a variety. You've got some snot brackets, some plates, some tiles, some Technic bits for internal structure, some larger plates, some wedge plates. Definitely some useful pieces and a good variety of parts, but nothing that was like jumping out at me as being, oh, this is new, this is cool. The third bag, kind of pretty much the same thing. Got some snot bricks, some slopes. Luke Skywalker is in bag 3. One of the parts that did jump out is the only printed part I've been able to find so far, other than a minifigure. So it's this 3x4 slope brick. This is like the 33-degree slope that has the intake that's going to go under the main wing. So interesting that is a print and not a sticker. Definitely happy about that. I think it looks great. Good print job there. Unlike on the AT microfighter I did a review of recently, so no complaints. Other than that, again, we've got some more wedge plates, starting to get some of these big slope bricks that are going to help make up the main fuselage. Some more snot brackets. We've got the big transparent window piece that's going to be the main canopy. Interesting that it's like a big square piece and not any of the tapered designs that we usually see. Then on to bag 4. We've got some interesting quarter round tiles, some bars with clips. I guess this is a newer piece as well. So it's a like 2x2 curve slope. So we've seen a 2x2 curve slope, but this one has the corners chopped off to make it pointy. So I'm not sure if this is new for 2021 or if this came out in 2020, but it is a relatively new piece as well. Missed that when I was looking before I hit record. Other than that, the bag 4 do have, I believe they use quarter or half circle panels are relatively new, but nothing brand new. We've got some large plates as well, some transparent light blue tiles for the engines, but other than that, nothing else to write home about. Bag 5. We've got Darth Vader in this bag. You can see he's got the new style helmet. There's the bottom half of that. Here's a normal 2x2 curve slope. Can do a quick comparison to this new one. So it's got like the same profile there, but from the top view, obviously, it's very, very different. Opens up new possibilities. I'm sure actually that like if you were to put them at 90-degree angles from each other, could make some interesting shapes and curves like that you could not do with the older curved slopes. And then for the rest of bag 5, this looks like this is where we're making the main wing with these big slope bricks. We've got, I believe, Darth Vader's cape is going to be in there. We've got some more of these 3x4 slopes unprinted this time. So you not find any other printed parts in there. There might be a control panel, like on a cheese slope hiding somewhere, but I did not spot it. And then the final bag, lots of different Technic bits, axles, pins, flick fire missile pieces, which probably are being used as structural pieces and not flick fire. So I always love it when that happens. And clearly the rest of bag 6 is going to be the wings. So you've got big wedge plates and some big white plates as well. Some Technic beams to add some support to those wings. I'm interested to see how the wing mechanisms function and how the wings attach and how sturdy that is. But that will have to wait until we build it. So I think we are ready to go ahead and do that. So now that we've seen the parts, we're going to build. We're actually going to do something a little different. Notice my review videos this year have been running a bit long, so I'm going to cut the build portion out, and that's going to be posted on a separate video on our channel. You'll be able to find the link in the description. So if you watch that, awesome. If not, you're about to see the finished set. Okay, here we are with the final set. Again, if you want to watch us building that, that's going to be in a separate video. You can find the link on the BZPower channel, or we'll put it below in the description. Due to the magic of editing, this has actually been a little bit since I actually finished the set, since I was running late that night after building it, because it did take about an hour or so. It's a fairly involved experience. 660 parts. Yeah, I try to take my time and enjoy the build, although it is pretty much completely symmetric. So like when you're building, one of the wings, you can build the other one at the same time. Same thing with like the side panels and pretty much all the elements. If you're got any experience building Lego sets, you can probably figure out how to do that. So yeah, here it is. Definitely captures the overall look of the Imperial Shuttle, the Lambda class shuttle from Star Wars. At a glance, it definitely has the silhouette, right? That those 3 wings folded up. We'll unfold them in a little bit, and you can see how that looks. There definitely are some design issues from a Star Wars fan perspective, and just from like a Lego set perspective as well. The cockpit, for one, is very weird. The view screen seems kind of off. The angle, definitely the actual shuttle. Whenever I say actual, obviously I mean the on-screen shuttle has a kind of a more gradual taper. I feel like there's just something off with the shaping of it. They've added on these stud launchers to the side, which look weird. And then when you look at it from the side perspective, it just has an odd profile that does not match the on-screen appearance. And then if you look at it from underneath, there's like a lot of gaps. They do not do a good job of covering up those gaps. Even giving the illusion of airtightness. And it's a Lego set, it's a toy. But as we'll talk about in a separate video where I'm going to compare this to some of the other Imperial shuttles, it's definitely did not do a good job in comparison to the others. One of the other things is when you look on the bottom, there's no, well, there's kind of landing gear. Like these little Technic bits are supposed to be the landing gear. They allow it to sit flat on a surface with the wings folded up. And I guess they work for this, but they weren't. I'm not a huge fan of them. So the cockpit does open up, and you can fit the Imperial Officer in there. He's just kind of leaning back. When we were looking through the parts, I commented that this slope over here is the only printed element, and there are no controls or anything in the cockpit, so I'm not sure how he's supposed to fly the shuttle, but such as it is. Looking on the back, we have the translate blue engines, very iconic for the design. We've got the rear turrets. They are a little finicky, but you know, that's not a big deal. And then one of the things I do like about this set is how you access the interior. So you can see this Mixel joint, toe ball joint on the Technic axle, and if you push that back, it's on one of those little rubbery Technic connectors, and that allows you to just swing this whole thing back here in a way that's nice and smooth. It kind of locks in place because of that rubber piece, and then you just kind of one hand. And as you can see in there, I can move our camera a little closer. We've got Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader can fit in there fairly well. We'll take a look at the minifigs in a minute or two. But yeah, you can see that there's just about enough room for the two minifigs. Their lightsabers kind of fit in these nice tracks along the side, so that works out pretty well. I do like how nice and easy that is, and how easy it is to access the center. In some other shuttle sets, you know, including I believe Krennic's shuttle from Rogue One and past Imperial shuttles, it was always kind of hard to get to the interior. So I definitely like this solution here. There is a bit of like exposed Technic up here and some different colored pieces, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So that is that feature. Those are kind of the two main play features, so to speak, is the opening cockpit and cargo container or cargo area. The other main thing is obviously the wings do fold down. So we have got a pick-a-brick cup. They come in very handy. So let's do that. Line up our shot here. All right, so the wings are on kind of those big round joints, popular in Exoforce from back in the day, and have been around ever since. So you kind of have to fold each wing down on its own, you know, to be expected, and then you can have an Imperial Shuttle. And again, they definitely got the silhouette down with those three wings fairly equidistant from each other. Can see the big side wings, got the little gray stripes on there. We've got the blasters here. Unfortunately, these blasters that use the flick fire missiles don't turn at all, like they are meant to do, you know, based on like the film representations and past toy versions. But they do capture the look very well. We got the wings with, again, the gray stripe. So very surprised with how thin they managed to keep the wings at just like a couple plates thick, other than where the Technic beams connect. So they did a pretty good job there, and it's pretty sturdy. You can kind of see these big slopes come apart when you hold it, but if you make sure to grab onto the Technic beam, because there's like these two Technic beams that kind of make most of the support. If you hold it by that, you can easily hold this with just a couple of fingers and fly it around, or obviously you can grip it by the body and swoosh it. And it's quite swooshable, quite sturdy, and yeah, it does a pretty good job. Like, you know, I commented on some of my issues with it, the landing gear and the cockpit, but considering the size of the set, this is smaller than some of the other Imperial shuttles we've gotten in the past. Maybe not the original one, but definitely smaller than the previous one. You'll be able to see that in another video we'll be posting where we compare this to some other Imperial Shuttle sets. I'm not sure that it feels like an $80 set. Maybe more like a $60, $70 set, but this kind of feels like it's a concerted effort that LEGO is trying to do with some of their Star Wars sets. If you've seen some of the other sets releasing in 2021, there was a new X-Wing and a new TIE Fighter that were significantly smaller than some of the past iterations, and also, following the smaller size, a smaller price, makes it more available, more like easy for younger kids who might not have as big of a budget, or whose parents don't want to spend as much on a Lego set to kind of get into Lego Star Wars. So I definitely applaud that. I think that's a good thing, but obviously that's going to come at the expense of some accuracy and some details. So you kind of have to take your pros and your cons. I definitely appreciate the lower price point on the set, although I do feel like it could be a little cheaper for what we get here, especially with only 3 minifigures. And speaking of those minifigs, we'll take a quick look at them here. So we've got Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, with his black robot hand. Pretty nice printing on the chest there. He's got a serious expression, and if we flip him over, he's kind of has like a little smirk, and some nice printing on the back there as well. And then we've got Darth Vader, who I'm pretty sure is exactly the same as most of the recent iterations of Darth Vader that we have received. He's got nice printing on the legs, on the chest. He's got the new 2-piece helmet, so he can pop off the top, and he still kind of has that neck piece there, and you can see Anakin Skywalker's grizzled face there. Look on the back, he's got his little scars from all of the surgery he had to go through after Obi-Wan did his slice and dice in Revenge of the Sith. And there's a little bit of printing on the back underneath the cape as well. Definitely a good fig, captures the look. Some people are kind of torn on that 2-piece helmet. I like it. I think it looks kind of cool. And kind of adds to some playability factor on there. And then last, we've got the Imperial Officer acting as the pilot. He's pretty basic there. Some nice printing on the chest, on the legs. Very basic face. Pretty sure we've seen it before. Hat is nothing new. And then a little bit of printing on the back. No dual-sided head, since the back of the head is exposed from the hat. So, as far as the part of the movie that this kind of comes from, in Return of the Jedi, where Luke turns himself into Vader on Endor, and they take the Imperial Shuttle up to the Death Star, I think this kind of captures that moment pretty nicely. I mentioned it is only 3 minifigures. There's not really a lot of other figures from this part of the movie. They could include maybe a stormtrooper. Army builders can never have enough stormtroopers. Nothing would be wrong with that. It would be kind of difficult, I can see, to find a way to fit another stormtrooper or another minifigure in general into the back there. Gotta watch out if you're swooshing around too much. These lightsabers kind of come undone. But there is like this 2x2 jumper here that I guess is maybe where you're supposed to put the Imperial Officer's blaster. You can kind of put the barrel in there to hold it steady. They don't specifically say that in the instructions, but if they kind of move that around and shifted some of these little panels, they might have been able to come up with some space to fit a third minifigure at the expense of the accessory storage. And I think I would rather have a 4th minifigure and lose some of the accessory storage. That's just me personally. Although I feel like most fans would probably rather have more minifigs in a set than less, especially in an $80 set. Another thing I will comment that I do like is the lack of stickers. You know, as we said, we were looking at the parts, there were no stickers at all, and only this one printed part, that 4x3 slope we showed off earlier. It's the only printed part other than the minifigures, and I think that was a good decision to print it, and it works really well. And you know, honestly, there weren't really any spots on here that needed any stickers. I think the set looks great as it is, so that's pretty cool there. All right, before we run too long with this review, I guess we should wrap it up. Overall, should you get it? Should you not get it? I think if you missed out on the most recent Imperial Shuttle from 2015, most recent 6 years ago, this is not a bad set to add to your collection. It definitely captures the overall look. Yeah, is it perfect? No, the cockpit's a little wonky. You know, it is a little on the small side, but that seems to be the trend that LEGO is going with Star Wars, so I guess this would fit better with some of the other recent sets as far as scale goes. $80, 660 parts, it does seem a little expensive. You know, it might be better to wait for a sale or promotion. I'm sure if you don't want to buy it from LEGO and get the VIP points, if you watch, you know, Amazon, Walmart, or Target, they'll put it on sale for 10 to 20% off at some point. And if you have you know, if you're watching that pretty closely, you can jump in and nab that there for what would that be, like 16 bucks off? So for $64 for 660 parts, I would say that definitely is a good value there. And probably, you know, closer to the price where it would have been if this set was 60 to 70 bucks. Then I would definitely say it's a good one for your collection. If you're not a Star Wars fan, there are a lot of good parts, a lot of snot brackets, a lot of these nice big white slopes and other slopes like in the side fuselage, different wedge plates, curved bricks for the wing attachment points here. So there's definitely a lot of good parts in here. But again, if you're just buying this for the parts, I definitely don't think it's that great of a value for that. But if you're buying it to display it for a little bit and then think about using the parts later, then you know, not a bad deal there either. So you know, it's kind of up to what you're looking for. Not a great set, not a horrible set, kind of in between. If you like Star Wars, then you know, you might want to consider picking it up again if you can find it on sale. So I think that's going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel, heading over to our website where we will have a full text review with pictures and stuff to go along with this and kind of go into some more depth. And also, again, check the description where you can watch us build the set in time-lapse, and then we'll have another video coming up where we compare this to some of the other Imperial Shuttle sets that have been released over the years. So thanks again for watching, guys. Again, this is Black 6 from BZPower, and we'll catch you next time.